In 2024, the last known D-Day combat veteran to attend the commemoration in Normandy was 108 years old. He made the trip one last time. When the last witness is gone, when there is no one left who was actually there, what happens to the memory? Who decides what is remembered, what is forgotten, and what is thought? That is the question that ends our series. And in my opinion, it's the one that matters the most.
So over the past 3 episodes, we've covered a lot of ground. We've asked whether Normandy was becoming a theme park, we followed the money and asked who profits, and we turned the lens on ourselves and asked what D-Day means to our generation. Today we close the loop. Because the reality is this: within the next decade or two, there will be no more living memory of World War II. No veterans, no eyewitnesses, no one who can say, I was there and this is what it felt like.
And honestly, Caroline, that creates some vacuum. Something will fill it. But the question for me is, what? Already we are seeing AI-generated veteran testimonies, digital reconstructions of soldiers' voices trained on recorded interviews. We are seeing virtual reality experiences that put you on the beach in 1944. We are seeing D-Day enter the metaverse. Is this the future of remembrance or the end of it?
I honestly think the digital tools we have today are an absolute best shot at keeping this memory alive once the last witnesses are gone. So think about projects like the interactive holograms of Holocaust survivors or what they're doing now with D-Day veterans. When the person is gone, the testimony doesn't have to disappear with them. Isn't that infinitely better than just silence?
It's a good point, and I am definitely not anti-technology. But we have to admit that digital memory isn't neutral. When you train an AI or build a digital archive, people are making active choices about what stays in and what gets cut. Who funds the project? Which stories get prioritized? It stops being pure history and becomes a curated version of it, and curation is always political for me.
Every history book ever written is curated too. Like, the difference here is scale and access. A VR experience of Omaha Beach can reach a teenager in Tokyo or Sao Paulo who will never ever get the chance to visit us here in Normandy. So a podcast, for example, reaches people who would never pick up a 500-page academic book. So broadening the audience isn't a betrayal of history. It's the only way to expand it.
I get the rich argument, but immersion doesn't automatically equal education. There is real danger that VR creates this illusion of empathy. You put on a headset, you hear the explosions, and suddenly you think you understand what it was actually like. It can actually reduce critical thinking by replacing historical complexity with just some raw sensation.
But that's exactly why our generation needs to step up and own these platforms. We are the ones who naturally know how to use these tools. I don't see that as a burden, I see that as an opportunity. If we don't use our own skills and language to keep this history alive, who else is going to do it?
We should use them, but the fact that witnesses are disappearing means we need to be way more rigorous, not just more creative. We can't just let tech companies run with it. We need strict standards. We need historians directly in the room when an AI reconstructs a veteran's voice, for example. Because once that last witness is gone, there is literally no one left to stand up and say, that is not what happened.
So before we finish, 4 episodes, 4 debates, and we've realized there really isn't just one correct answer to any of this.
And that's okay, but there is one fundamental thing we absolutely agree on. D-Day is not finished. It's not a closed chapter in a history book. It's an ongoing conversation about memory, responsibility, power, and identity, and every generation has to have it for themselves.
So to sum up the whole series in one sentence is how we remember D-Day tells us everything about who we are becoming. So remember carefully, remember critically, and remember together.
Thanks for tuning into WRNC. This has been our 4-part series on D-Day tourism and memory. See you soon.